Hi, this is Unit 402, roundtable discussion about our policies, password policies, and the policy preventing outdated software. What password length is considered to be safe? Current requirements state that the minimum length is 12 characters. But length of 14 characters is more preferable. The company sets the minimum password length to 14 characters. Question 2. Some employees don't like changing passwords and prefer using the old passwords instead. So they change their password and then change it again to the old one. And so they can reuse their old password. So what can we implement to make this unsafe practice not possible? What would discourage users from dodging the password system by using a new password and then changing it back to their old one? First, we implement minimum password age policy. This policy determines how long employees must keep the password before they can change it. And we consider the minimum password age should be 3 days. Second, we implement enforced password policy. This policy sets password history policy. This enforced password history policy sets how often an old password can be reused. It should be implemented with a minimum of 10 previous passwords remembered. Question 3. We are not allowed to write down our passwords, and the passwords have to be complicated. So how can we memorize all the passwords? The answer is using password managers. Use password managers, password management tools, or password vaults. They are a great way to organize all your passwords, not only for your job. Password managers store your passwords securely, and many password managers also provide a way to backup passwords and synchronize them across multiple systems. So you can, for example, install that password manager on your laptop and on your mobile phone at the same time, and everything will be synchronized. Question 4. So company doesn't provide the password managers to the employees, and what password managers can employees use for free? There is a list of examples of free password managers such as LastPass, lastpass.com, KeePass, KeePass.info, Keeper at keepersecurity.com, PasswordSafe at pwsafe.org, dashlane.com. Question 5. Why it is better to use MFA, not only passwords, to use multi-factor authentication, and what solution would you suggest? Even the best passwords have limits. Multi-factor authentication adds another layer of protection in addition to your username and password. Generally, the additional factor is a token or a mobile phone application that you would use to confirm that you are really who you are logging in. As we use FortiGate firewalls, we will use 40 tokens, and we will use application on mobile phones. Question 6. What are the rules that could be potentially enforced by system administrators? There are multiple rules that could be potentially enforced by system administrators, such as password complication and minimum password length, maximum also history of the passwords, and many other aspects of passwords, and also all passwords should be rotated every 90 days. And it is suggested that the system administrator sets to test the strengths of your passwords with an online strength testing tool. We will use also multi-factor authentication, and we will use a tool that checks complexity of the password. Question 7. How to make passwords easier to remember? To make passwords easier to remember, we suggest using sentences or phrases. Question 8. What should employees avoid in their passwords? Employees should avoid single words or words preceded or followed by a single number. For example, like password, then number 1, then exclamation mark, or something like that. Hackers will use dictionaries of words and commonly used passwords to guess your password. Don't use information in your password that other people might know about you from your social media accounts, such as birthdays, children's names or pets' names, car models, and etc. etc. And also, what should we use to make passwords stronger? According to the new password policy, the minimum length is 14, and the longer password is, the better. So our suggestion is to use at least 16 characters whenever possible. As for outdated software, question 9. What can happen if we don't update operating systems? For example, if our users keep their operating systems on their laptops not updated, using outdated operating systems can result in a wide range of risks, including security vulnerabilities, compatibility issues, slow system performance, and legal consequences. Question 10. What can happen if network engineers don't update and patch servers, routers, switches, and firewalls? When an attacker checks for common software vulnerabilities, then they can check and exploit our outdated software vulnerabilities. For attacks such as SQL injections, cross-site scripting, cross-site request forgery, man-in the browser attack, and man-in-the-middle attack. Hackers might access your device remotely. They can use this device for the botnet and for crypto mining. They can install spyware and keyloggers. They can intercept the database, encrypt important data for ransomware attack, steal confidential data, intercept credentials, and make financial transactions on your behalf. They can also insert malicious codes into your website. So it's important to keep your browsers, to keep your operating systems, and to keep all equipment, network equipment, updated. Next, we will demonstrate what is our password policy. So our password policy consists of several policies, such as complexity requirements policy. The security team ensures that every password is secured following these guidelines. Password cannot contain the user's name or parts of the user's full name, such as their first name. Passwords must use at least 3 or 4 available character types: lowercase letters, uppercase letters, numbers, and symbols. Second, passwords must be rotated every 90 days. The maximum password age policy determines how long users can keep a password before they are required to change it. This policy forces the users to change their passwords regularly. To ensure the network security should set value to 90 days for passwords and 180 days for passphrases. Minimum password age policy. This policy determines how long employees must keep passwords before they can change it. As we discussed, this will prevent users from dodging the password system by using a new password and then changing it back to the old one. Enforced password history policy. This policy sets how often the old password can be reused. It should be implemented with a minimum of 10 previous passwords remembered. This policy will discourage users from reusing a previous password and preventing them from alternating between several common phrases. Minimum password length policy determines the minimum number of characters needed to create a password, and the company sets this minimum password length to 14 characters. Local administrator password should be reset every 180 days for greater security, and service account passwords should be reset at least once in a year during maintenance time. And to make employees know that they need to change their passwords, we will implement email notifications, and the system will automatically create emails notifications prior to password expiry to remind employees that it's time to change their password. Thank you.